I would say welcome back, but I'm the one that's back that hasn't been around. So, boy, where do I start? And let me say this first. Kent, this podcast is dedicated to you. He's been saying, where is the podcast, man? Where are the podcasts? So, anyways, I'm going to get started, try to catch up a little bit. The first one, I told my wife, I was like, man, I don't even know where to start on this first one because it's been so long. It's like, you guys are out of the loop. I'm out of the loop. You know, when you start rolling on them a bunch, you just kind of get a rhythm to it, I guess. And you like, I don't know, I guess people know where you're at. You know where you've been telling people where you're at, what's going on, what your topics you are, and they go from there. But anyways, I'm going to do the best to get you caught up. I cannot believe someone commented on the YouTube channel, this guy's pushing the podcast and hasn't put one out since October. And I was like, what? This guy's full of it. So I went in to the last podcast and I was like, whoa, I think it's been like October 30th or 31st or something. I'm like, okay, I didn't mean to mess up that bad. I feel like that was definitely dropping the ball and letting you guys just float. It's like, well, if those guys leave and never come back, I can't say I blame them. So big things coming. Lots of guests. Barton Ramsey's coming on. Oh, Sledge. I didn't even put that down. So let me say this first, and I didn't have this in my notes. Sledge is 5 months and a week now, getting big. Beautiful looking dog. I'm not gonna lie, and whatever I talk about in this podcast today is just gonna be touch and go. We'll get into a lot more details, and a lot of these will all be specific topics. So we'll be longer episodes and stuff like that, and I'll get them rolling again for reals. Duck season, I just try, I do what I do, and it is what it is. And I traveled a lot, did a lot of things, hunted, worked. So, and then I have no regrets. It feels good. I missed the podcast. I really did. I honestly could tell you about 4 or 5 times. I looked over at the podcast equipment. I'm like, I'm gonna do a podcast. And then something else would come up. I was going to record some yesterday and end up cleaning my 28 gauge out and just tearing that thing completely apart. And then I thought, so what happened is I'm going all over the place. This is what I told you was going to happen. So I shoot strictly heavy 12, 3-inch 6-shot out of my 28 gauge. And that's pretty much all I shot this year. I'd say 95% of hunts was that gun. Wind, rain, high winds, no matter what kind of hunt. Because I don't really, even on the till hunts, believe it or not, man, I hate shooting that. I really do hate shooting that stuff on till hunts. But I wasn't never really targeting till, and didn't really have many of those. So you say, man, you shot all that for till hunts? I didn't really do any, to be honest with you. So, and I pick my shots with it more, which maybe that's why my percentage is a lot higher. But I'll get into that in a second. Let me backtrack, go back to Sledge. He is about to start formal training. He sits, he kennels, he eats food, he digs holes, what else does he do? He chews things up. So yes, that's that is where Sledge is right now. Those are the things he does. Poops in my yard. What else? Tries to jump on me, which I broke him with that. Tries to jump on my slider. I broke him with that. He's actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. And even if Barton Ramsey hears this, oh well. But I'm telling you right now, that dog about went to someone else. His energy level and his energy level was absolutely about to drive me bonkers. Like, I have had my patience tested this highly before with a dog, and let's just say I got rid of that dog. And it wasn't a lab, it wasn't something, it was a mix, and I ended up giving it to somebody that had a dairy, and they loved him. But the thing is with Sledge is, this dog I got rid of was absolutely stupid. This dog, Sledge is absolutely smart. Crazy smart. And I think that's what was irritating me about him is I know he knows, but he is a puppy, right? And I remember from the last one, you got to have patience. I mean, they're puppies. So I think my patience has been a little bit better, but I've vented more about it. So more people around me have heard me talking like, dude, I want to knock this dog out. But I haven't like whipped him or just done anything to him. I just like, I just have to like walk away. But it's like slow what's happening. Like today, he's with me, right? All day long. And he's getting out a lot. And we have a decent backyard, but it's different than when you get out. He gets to explore. He gets to run full blast just like as far as he wants. Not that he can't run full blast in my yard, but it's new places, new spaces, new people, yada, yada. And, man, he just looks good right now. His coat's amazing. I'm feeding him the puppy blend. I think you feed him that till they're a little over a year, then I'll switch. But it's Eukanuba, sport dog puppy or something like that. It's not the regular puppy. And let me think. What else was I going to tell you about him? So he's about to start formal training here in about 3 weeks. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I feel like it will kind of wear the hyperness down. It will give him something to do. I'm still planning on using the Chris Akins. I've watched a bunch of the program from Barton Ramsey, Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, and I love a lot of stuff they say in there. But it's kind of like, I don't know. There's some methods in there with the clicker and the treats and all that, and I'm just like, man, I just don't. I was gonna do it, and then I got into it further, and I'm like, man, it just feels like there's so many more steps. It looks so easy, but yet there's more steps. It feels like. And I'm going to integrate some of that stuff for sure. I'm not obliged to. He never said, oh, we'll work together if you use this plan, you know. And by the way, I paid for Sledgehammer. Like, I wasn't given that dog, by the way. So me saying thoughts were running through my head about giving him away or selling him, it's because I bought him. It wasn't like I was given that dog. So anyways, things have gotten good. He's getting older. He's going out with me a lot. Hunting season's over, so we can spend all that time working, getting him in the water. He is a maniac when it comes to retrieving, and I need to move on because I told you I just kind of wanted to touch on these things and do deeper ones, but for the rest of the episodes, this is more like a catch-up. But he is an absolute freak when it comes to retrieving. I mean, every day his speed gets faster, his drive gets higher. I'll tell you this, I didn't start throwing him bumpers till about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. People always overdo it with puppies, and they just don't. They get distracted. I've been saying this for a long time, from personal experience and from what Chris Akins said. Don't do it. They don't need it. Even on the Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, they say the same thing. Your dog will retrieve when it's time, and throwing them a bunch of little bumpers when they're 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks is really. I almost feel like it's eliminating drive. And I've tested that theory and didn't throw him nothing. I threw him a couple teal during season, like literally like 3 tosses total for the whole season. Never threw him a bumper. I threw him this little thing they gave me when I first got him, like a couple times. That's it, like in the garage. And now I'm throwing him actual bumpers and I'm chucking him way out there. So what I'm having him do is sit, tell him to sit, chuck it. And he doesn't have to be steady. He can take off as soon as I throw it. In fact, he's already running. Because it doesn't matter right now. When you start doing the formal training and all that, that's where that all comes into play. And then later down the road, 8, 9 months, he'll start sitting and then shooting the gun and the whole process, right? And Meat Harrison, his dog, is a few months, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months older than Sledge. So she's ahead. But we're going to go work together out of the boats, and it's going to be fun. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't know if I'll be making any videos of that specifically, but I will be showing the training videos. So let me move on after I say this. He's a savage. He loves retrieve. He runs straight out, straight back, comes right to me, doesn't try to play keep away. He loves to please me. That's one thing I've noticed about him. It's like he's coming back to me so fast. He almost plows through me. And he's actually learning that now to like kind of break a little bit right before he gets to me. But he's loving it. And I can throw him a bunch. Like, he's different. Like, Rocky at this age would have probably like 4 or 5 trees and be like, slowing down. And that's totally fine. I've learned to love Rocky beyond what I can even imagine. It was the easiest dog to ever train in my life. Sledge, though, I'll throw him 8 or 9, and he still wants more. He's jumping in the air with everything it is to get that bumper for me. He wants me to throw it again. So just different, right? Anyways, I do have videos coming out. I haven't edited them yet, but I have them when I picked them up. I have the videos doing some stuff that I think is really going to help a lot of you guys that I never did with Kelly or Rocky that I learned on myself, because I helped a lot with Kelly, but I wasn't there for the little stuff like the feedings, the kenneling, taking care of him, what's the best way to handle him with the potty training and all that stuff. So those are coming out. A lot of it will be talking to, not just video of him, because I really want to help people. And everyone's always said those other 2 series have helped people. So that's that. Moving on, Rocky. I don't know how many of you guys know this. Unless you're on Instagram and Facebook, you wouldn't know. Rocky did get hit about with 2 weeks of season left. And man, it was a bad day. Let's just put it that way. I was literally getting ready. I was going out of state the next day. I was going out of state by myself, just me and Rocky in the boat. And devastating incident occurred. My daughter has her video turned up so loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. You probably can't, but I'm going to tell her to turn it down. But anyways, let me send this text real quick, so I can't talk and do this at the same time. So I was walking them, both of them, Sledge and Rocky. We're walking out there through an orchard, way away from the main road, way, like over 200 yards. And if you guys know anything about 2 dogs, and this is another thing I've learned, I don't think I'll ever get a dog before my other one is passed away. That sounds terrible. And the scary thing about that is, a dog could be done hunting at 10 or 11 and live till 15. I say that now. Maybe I won't do that later. But man, it was so much, guys. Rocky was getting out. We almost lost him twice. It was like he was negatively fighting back because we had someone else in the family. And we weren't showing him any more attention. But he was acting out. So it was crazy. It was terrible, actually. That was part of the reason I was thinking about the Sledge thing, because it was like, dude, I'm not going to lose this dog because of a little puppy. It was a rough deal. It was rough. But anyways, there's a lot more details than that, and I'll share that later, so stay tuned. I'm trying to just touch on the surface of topics. Long story short, and I'll tell this story deeper later, Rocky got hit by a car. I don't know if it was a car or truck. I don't know how fast they were going. I had headphones in. I was walking them. They were right by me. I was a long ways away from the main road. Next thing, I look up, Rocky, Sledge, where are you? I'm like squatted down in the orchard looking because, the tree level's high. And all of a sudden, I hear, boom. Rocky's running full blast away like the death run. I honestly thought he was going to die, internal bleeding, all that. I was screaming at him to come to me. I don't know why they ran besides 2 dogs being stupid. We're running together, not paying attention where they're going. I don't know how I still have Sledge. He should have been dead. Like, if Rocky was in the road, I know he should have been hit and killed. Lord protected him. I had to go to the doctor, had to get sewn up. Big old cut, jacked his shoulder up and his arm. He's still kind of limping. It's been 2.5 weeks. He's doing better. I think he's going to be okay, but I'm sure it's aged him a lot. So long story short, Rocky's hit, canceled the trip. There's probably a reason for it. I feel like that I probably wasn't supposed to go. Maybe something would have happened. I don't know. But anyways. So that's that. Crazy. Yeah, a lot's went down, guys. And this is really only in the last 3 weeks. So the season overall has, to me, been good. I don't know how everyone feels about that. I've never really said, the seasons haven't been no good. Because I know I hear people say that, last year was the worst ever. It's it was the worst I've ever seen. But I still killed birds, though. And I feel like the biggest reason why people were saying that, too, is a lot of reason because the season, the flood year, it was just so astronomically good. Probably the best I've ever seen in my whole life. since I've been duck hunting, and I will say, let's just say refuges, right? You couldn't go out without getting a limit. You couldn't go without seeing all these birds. It was unbelievable from the very beginning all the way through to the end, that flood year. And didn't matter where you were. You know, rivers, lakes, refuges, clubs, anywhere. So I think coming off the high of that and then hitting a semi-low, it made people feel like it was really low. But anyways, I stay positive. I don't just like, oh, this is bad. Like, move, go somewhere else, go out of state, travel, find new places, and I know a lot of you guys did that. And those are the guys that, take advantage of that. There ain't seen a lot of birds. Go scout and put some miles on the old legs and find new places. I mean, I did that a lot, whether it was in the boat or whether it was in by foot, right? So anyways, I feel like our season was really good overall. The trip with Jimmy was absolutely phenomenal. We're going to go over those, me, Travis Thomas. We're going to have those podcasts coming up. We're going to have Jimmy on a bunch. I've got a ton of topics, ton of ideas. I've been writing it down. I already talked to him. We were going to record some last week. I couldn't get back in time from a hunt. What else was I going to say about that as far as the season goes? So, I mean, yeah, I had a good season. I had a couple rough hunts, but isn't that hunting? So, anyways. So, we'll move on. Muller chokes, guys. I haven't been saying this because I haven't been doing podcasts. I've been saying it in some of the videos, but I'm telling you right now, this is season 2 down with Muller chokes in every single one of my guns. And by the way, Weatherby gave me me and Thomas a 20 gauge. The Sorix, like that gun. I've got a timber decoy choke in that one. Haven't got to pattern it, but did hunt with it a couple times. Shoots really good. Comfortable. I like it a lot. Beautiful looking gun. Like it better even in person. I think it was, what's the color called on that one? Marsh, I believe. I think it's called Marsh. So it's a 20 gauge. And it's a solid gun. Me and Thomas both like it. So shooting heavy bismuth out of that. But every gun that I have has the Muller choke in it. And there's a reason. You really won't hear anybody say it's hype. Be honest with you. You really won't. Because it's not hype. The guys that say it's hype is very few and far between. In fact, I'm surprised there's not more. Other than that's how good it is. People are throwing those in. They're patterning them. Okay, we got our line. And then shoot it on water. He's right. He's done a big deal on Facebook. It's kind of blown up. But people are basically saying, what do you mean don't pattern it? You need to pattern it. It's like, well, yeah, you do because he said that. People aren't getting what he's saying. He's not saying don't pattern. He's kind of saying that, I think, to get people worked up. But he's also saying, look, if you're thinking, oh, this ain't whatever you're seeing on paper, you also need to shoot it on the water, see what it looks like. Does it look like someone took a handful of gravel and throw it like most people's patterns do with their chokes and the ammo they're using when they're using 2-shot? Sorry if that offends anybody, but 2-shot is so unnecessary. And I probably get some comments or people talking to yourself in your vehicle or in your office right now for saying that, but it really is. I will say that, and I will stand by that. I don't care if your honker is in Maine and it has 2 inches of fat. Number 2-shot still is not necessary. Where do you got to shoot these birds? In the head. It doesn't matter what you're using. Yes, bismuth penetrates better and smaller shot because it has a smaller surface area, penetrates better. So 4-shot, 6-shot. If you're using bismuth, even if you're using still 4-shot, and if you have the speeds right and the load right, that's all you need. Up to 30, 40 yards with still. So I guess what my point is, there's no point. I mean, yeah, you can use, so it's got more weight, so it will carry farther, and that's why guys want to use small or bigger shot for still because of momentum, right? But it dies fast, so they want to use the mass of the object to carry, and it does that. I'm not going to try to be a Jimmy here. I can't vocalize it like he does, but I'll just tell you right now, a 1 3/8 ounce load, and we shot with him, and I'll just tell you, we shot some ammo that was dumb. He's making some still stuff right now that I'm like, Jimmy, make some for me. I need some boxes now. Well, I want to shoot that still. I'm just telling you that's how good it is. So the 2-shot train, the BB train, it's like, guys, that's not where it's at. And another thing is the feet per second. The 1,500 feet per second thing it's just been proven so much. Jimmy's done so much to prove that and disprove it. If it makes you happy, though, by all means. But when I see guys, patterns in the water shooting, like say when they're out shooting divers or if they're shooting on the edge of a lake out into the water as birds are crossing and you see their patterns, like, my goodness, dude, you wonder why you shoot. And you're like, I was all over that bird. And the bird's still flying. You ain't missing sometimes. Your pattern is because it's that jacked up. So, and it's because your feet per second and because of what you're shooting, you're in a 3-inch hole with 2-shot. You'd be shocked how little of BBs or pellets, whatever. I got corrected one time for saying BBs. For pellets in your load. Literally. And if you think about it, heavy bismuth is less. I'm getting way off on a tangent. I shouldn't even go there right now, especially when Jimmy's not there to verify me. Everyone's going to think I'm full of it. But it's just one of those things, I think, when your eyes get opened about it and you hear it and hear it enough and enough and enough and enough, you're like, you know what, dude? This is where it's at. I get it now. It's sunk in. It makes complete sense. It's with the science. Doesn't matter what Grandpap said and all that stuff. I hate to say it, but, and I shouldn't even probably said that because back then the speeds were slower and they were shooting lead. So it's like, it's not a comparison. I think we got to get out of that rut we've been in for so many years. And I know for a fact a lot of people's eyes have been opened big time because they've heard the podcast enough. They've seen the videos where he does all his testing. They're knowing now. People are learning, and it's totally, I think it's a big wave that's pushing right now, and it's not a fad. It's not a fad. Do you want more accuracy? Do you want a better pattern? Do you want to shoot the better loads and not what everyone says is better? It's faster, faster, faster. No. Because if I remember right, everybody and their grandma says, if you shoot past 40, you're a skybuster. So if that's the case, then you don't need speed. And even if you do need speed to get that still out there farther, because all these guys are, I shoot him at 15 yards. I shoot him at 15 yards. Then why do you need 1,500 feet per second? Right? So I need to get off that topic. I need Jimmy here. I need a backup for all that, but let's go. So what I was wanting to say is the Muller chokes are insane, dude. And especially on that 28 gauge, I've shot the passing the whole season. I don't think I've even put the decoy in. And I did that because that's how I kind of had it set up before. And I was so used to that tightness that I kind of wanted to keep it that way. And I just like it like that. So it doesn't matter if they're 10 yards, if they're 50 yards. And you say 50. It's like, yeah, I said 50. And if I got a trophy flying away at 60, don't think I will not shoot them. And I've done it over and over again. And I also have video proof. Am I doing that regularly? Absolutely not. But it's there. It's my sniper rifle, man. This is my rifle. This is my gun. And that heavy 12 out of it. Oh my goodness, guys. And the heavy 12 is the money spot, like Jimmy always talks about. It's $13.50. It's a 1 ounce load. It's a tungsten alloy. It's going $13.50. 3 ounce, 6 shot. I kill honkers, specks, mallards, teal, widgeon, you name it. It's folding them. Ask anybody that hunts with me. Harrison does the same thing. I got the Benelli Ethos Cordoba 28 with the 28-inch barrel. I will say that. At first, I was like, man, I should have got the 26, but now I'm like, nah, that's exactly what I want. And Harrison has the SB3 28 gauge, and I believe his is a 28-inch barrel as well, I think. And that dude's a sniper with that thing. So anyways, close or far, don't matter. One call does it all. All right. As you've noticed, and we're getting quite a ways through this, so that's good. As you've noticed, videos have been minimal. And I remember saying before season started, my goal was to get like 20 videos out, and it really was my goal. And I could care less about the views if I'm getting 2,000 views or if I'm getting 50,000 views, because it's just so jacked up right now. And I almost quit multiple times YouTube, and just like, it's not worth my time. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, is this why I do it? For money and views? No, it's not. I already said that 1,000 times. That's not why I started. I didn't even know you could get paid. Why I do it is for the memory. So I also only did it when I felt like doing it. I did it on my outstate trips. I did it in Connecticut with Jimmy, which was a phenomenal trip. I'm so glad I got all that in video. Thomas with the banded black duck, all that is just so sick. It's just like, I'm so glad I got all that. Did that with a nice camera, very good quality. I feel like it was good videos to watch. The third one, day 3, was a little bit, didn't get as much footage on that. I was kind of bummed because it wasn't really going as planned, and we were kind of headed in, and then things turned on. So we found a big group of hiders, common hiders. So, and then we started working them out then. But plus, we had to get out of our hotels at a certain time and head out of town. So, anyways, it was kind of a rush day. But like, that's the stuff I got on video. And that's good enough. Like, all the other 30, 40 hunts I did that weren't even on video, I have no regrets. None. I'm so glad I video what I video. I'm glad I didn't video what I didn't video. Could I say it's because I don't want people to know where I'm at, what I'm doing? I guess that could be part of it. That's not the reason why I'm not. It's just the hassle of it, and I just don't feel like doing it anymore. And it doesn't even matter. It's like, what? Okay, to get a little bit more YouTube money, that's it's non-existent anyways, and it doesn't get the views. I don't know if it's because people are tired with the channel, or if they're tired like with us, or they just don't show them. I don't think they show our videos, but I could be wrong. Either way, it doesn't even matter to me. Those videos are for us, and we've already went back and watched them, and trust me, we'll watch them for years to come. So the videos are going to stay that way, if not less. I know I said I was going to do more, but then I kind of changed and switched. I thought, man, there's a lot more I could do with the channel than hunting, since they're not getting the views anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to sit down and waste time and effort to do it unless it's a specific thing that I want for me. So I'm not doing it for people anymore. I'm doing it for me and my friends and family. So yes, there still will be videos in the future. How many? I don't know. Depends on how many trips I'm going to do and how many times I want to pick the camera up. I love taking photos. And in fact, season for that's coming up. All these birds that are settled in on the closed zones and refuges and everything else, I can go out there. I'm going to get a bunch of good shots and videos. I will try to put more of that on the channel, probably like in YouTube Shorts, that kind of stuff. But like, as far as all the other stuff, it's like, I don't care. I may maybe do more like pattern videos, more. I didn't do the loadout video this last year. Just didn't feel like doing it. Maybe do some of that stuff, or talk about specific products I really like. Had some other ideas that I think were good. So other than that, that's it. That's what we're doing for the videos. Next thing I wanted to talk about is the Trump baby drill, baby drill. Come on now, boys, girls. Can you believe it? And that's the thing that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be having a lot of political stuff coming back on here, because I've never felt like there's been a greater time to be alive and be an American. I've been, honest to God, I was in the military, okay? I've never been so sickened to be an American. And I say that's half-heartedly, right? Because half of me is like, I'm an American. I'm glad I am. I'm thankful I am. But I was so ashamed of our government and all the things and the corruption that we have. And I was ashamed of it. And it's like, it's embarrassment. Humiliating. Other countries laughing at us. And the stuff Trump is doing, I don't even want to get started into it, but I'm going to let you know right now, we will be having podcasts on here. I will be having my dad on here. We will be talking about stuff. We'll probably get, working on the free speech thing like they said they're going to do. We'll see, because I'm curious that anything's going to get kicked off YouTube in the coming months of podcasts we're going to do, because I would say not only we're doing it just to talk about it, but maybe to inform some of you guys that aren't on stuff and don't see it. Maybe some of you are like, dude, I will not be listening to those. That's totally fine. If you don't want to listen, don't listen. But I think it's worthwhile stuff to talk about. And I like talking about it right now. I've never been so into seeing what my president's doing, learn about the Secretary of Defense, learn about the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, all these things that are going on right now. It's phenomenal and mind-blowing at the same time. Like, good things are happening, but it's insane the bad things that have been happening for years and years and years. It can't just be blamed on the Biden era. It's been going on for years, decades. And I want to talk about it. I want to go into it, and I want to share the information. And that's just because that's what I want to talk about. So I guess there's no other reason than that. This is my podcast, and this is what I want to talk about. But like I said, I will be doing the dog training. We'll be talking some politics. We'll be talking with Jimmy Muller a bunch, hopefully a ton. I'm going to try to do marathons, like where we just sit down and me and him record for like 4 hours, at a time. What else? Trips of the last year, this last season, talk about things and get more details that you don't get in the videos, stuff like that. What else? Yeah, just to keep it rolling, keep it going. If anything I would ever give up when it comes to podcast, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it would be for sure Facebook, Instagram. Podcast and YouTube, Podcast, I don't see me ever letting it go because I enjoy it. It's not very much work. I love to talk. I love to meet people. I love to talk to people. I love to learn from people, gain their wisdom and knowledge. The other ones, like, man, if you don't see me around a lot longer on Instagram and Facebook, don't be surprised because I'm just definitely done with Facebook for reasons. And Instagram, it's like, I don't know, I'm just kind of over it, guys. I guess it's weird because you don't do anything to be known. You're trying to build something, but then when you kind of like, how can I say this? Like when you build something up, you worked on something and it gets there. It's like, okay, what was this for? That being said, if it wasn't for all these social media platforms, I wouldn't have met the people I met. I wouldn't have been the places I've went. I wouldn't have done the things I've done. So there's definitely lots of benefits to it. But I think once you get that established, it's kind of like, I don't think this really matters anymore. But the podcast has been one of my best tools I've had, to be honest with you. So anyways, I feel like photographers are a dime a dozen. I feel like videographers and YouTube channels are a dime a dozen. Everybody's doing it. Everybody started a channel. Nobody cares about it like they did before. Guys that are succeeding do it full time. Guys that are succeeding have their own videographers and editors. I don't have that stuff. I don't want it. I don't need it. I have more important things in my personal life that I love to do and that I'm very highly involved in. So I think I'm just kind of telling you guys all this at the very end of this episode because I just kind of want to I'm kind of giving you a forewarning of what's to come. Some things I've really been thinking about, praying about. We'll see. We'll see what happens, what takes place. But I think in all, things will be better. The things that are focused on will be better than ever. I think Doge has come in and cleaned the house in my area too. So they're coming in and kind of getting things that are waste of time and then doing the things that matter. So that's what really matters to me. Time efficiency. Bible says redeeming the time because the days are evil. So there's more spiritual things like that I'd rather be dealing with than trying to build some type of thing that nobody cares about. Because that's what I think. It's like every time I sit down and really think of like Facebook and Instagram, those two specifically, even more so Instagram for like posts, is really like, it's a weird mindset. It's like, look at me, look what I've done kind of thing in a way. Like influencers, right? I guess what I would be. Like, here's our pile picture. Here's us walking. Like, I guess if I never seen a pile pic again, I could care less. You could go, if you do follow us on Instagram, you won't see. We posted one recently with our church, which that's kind of more of a tradition. There's a bunch of us in it and a bunch of birds. And then, like, we took pictures with me, Travis, and Thomas with our black ducks, which wasn't even all the birds we shot. And go through our feed, like 2 other pictures of you don't even know how many hunts and things we did that are not on here. Because it's like I don't care about that anymore, if that makes sense. It's like the breakfast, cooking the breakfast, and the boat ride, just after the hunt, my dog, scouting. Like, those are the things, or one specific bird and just looking at the beauty of them. Like, that's what I'm into now. And we could go deep into that, but it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's the catch-up, I guess. We'll go over Sledge training more. We'll have Barton on. I'll talk about his training. We'll talk more in details about Rocky. We'll have Jimmy Muller on. We'll go over our hunts this past season with Thomas and Travis. We'll do more politics. My dad will be coming on. I know a lot of people enjoy my dad, and he's got time to do it now because he was so busy for the last couple of years. He hasn't been able to come on here. He's worked like crazy. So there's a lot to come, guys. So stay tuned. Man, I wish I would have said this when I was talking about the Muller chokes. Don't forget, guys, the Muller choke code. Now's the time to do it. Don't like, oh, duck season's over, I don't need to get him. Yeah, you do. Get it, shoot skeet, shoot trap, practice. Get that choke dialed in. Time to pattern it. Put in the code MVM 2024 and you'll get 10% off. It helps us out, helps you guys out. Your pattern's better. I've never put nothing on here. There's people I've worked with, I did not ever talk about their product, and they were furious at me because I said it's no good, and I'm not sharing it with my audience. I'm not doing it. And that put me in bad water, and I hate that. To me, if you're not making a product good, then you should be saying, well, what is the problem with it, and how can we fix it? And understand why I don't want to promote it. Instead, it's like, you offend me. You hurt my feelings. We don't want to work with you anymore. Like, fine. I'm not going to lie to people. It's against my morals and God's law, period. That's the number one thing. Number 2, it's not me and it's not who I want to be known for. This guy just sells stuff and does this. So I'm saying all that to say this. The choke thing, you will not regret it. I haven't had one person say, I didn't like it, man. Send it back. A big wave of that happened, but I don't know what the reason of that was. I really don't know why guys would buy something just to shoot it on a hunt and send it back just because Jimmy said you could do that. It's like, I mean, I'm sure some guys legitimately just didn't like it. But I have some buddies that shot it half a hunt, one hunt. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Take it out. It's like, dude, are you joking? First off, you never patterned. You don't even know what it looks like on paper. How do you know you didn't have a bad hunt? You can't shoot a choke on one hunt and you're shooting bad and then blame the choke for it. I mean, if that's the case, why don't you blame the gun too? It's so stupid when you think about how people are with that stuff. You have the ammo, the gun, and the choke. All 3 of those things are reasons. Then you have the human factor and the human error. So how do you know that you weren't shooting bad that day? Because you definitely do it all through the season. So is it your choke? You need to take the choke out? So I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I get it, but I don't know. I've always given something a fair chance. You got to give it a fair try. So half a hunt, half a box, and then saying it ain't no good, that is really not testing it. Trust me. So anyways, you guys give it a try. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that's all I have in my guns. Harrison, that's all he has in his guns. Okay, we know what works. It works. We'll stand by it. We'll swear. Everybody in his club's shooting those Muller chokes because they've hunted with them. They've seen it with their own eyes. They're like, dude, something's different. You know, Harrison's already a good shot anyways. But I'm telling you, when you see the chokes and what it does, especially out of our 28 gauges, they're phenomenal guns. That's all I shoot pretty much anymore. But I think the lights will come on. And if you've had good experiences with the Muller chokes, because I know a lot of you have messaged me, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, put in the comments of this YouTube video on the MVM show, or leave us a comment review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. So anyways, there's the update. I need to get off here. I've been talking too long already. It's good to be back, guys. We'll keep the podcast rolling, and we'll see you guys in the next one.